Welcome back to Informed Sources. A state senator is raising concerns about the Shelby County District Attorney's Office and what he sees as a refusal to enforce state law. Senator Brent Taylor sent a letter to Tennessee's Attorney General asking if the DA's new agreement with the Department of Justice is legal. In fact, just last month, the Justice Department announced that the district attorney would no longer prosecute some people for prostitution. That law specifically targets sex workers with HIV, enforcing stiffer penalties for those who knowingly spread the disease.
The reason that HIV rates are increasing is that recently the state of Tennessee cut funding for the kinds of preventive programs and the kinds of organizations that would actually make a difference.
Mulroy says he agreed to stop pursuing aggravated prostitution cases after the Justice Department sent him a letter threatening to sue him. You know, you sit here and you look, is this a clash of personalities, or is there a real issue here of crime and punishment?
I think the clash is a misunderstanding about the role of the DA. The DA is there to...
Who's misunderstanding, the senators or the DAs?
The DA's misunderstanding. I mean, DA Mulroy is there to prosecute the laws that the legislature has passed. And each case is different, I get that. But you can't categorically say, I'm not going to enforce this law that has been passed by the legislature. I mean, that's not the way our government is set up. And I think that's where Senator Taylor's real frustration has come in, is that he's basically ignoring what the legislature has put into place in terms of the law.
And for the record, the DA has said he has not stopped prosecuting prostitution cases, just in this specific event where he's agreed to stop setting aside the HIV positive prostitution cases for harsher penalties. But isn't that where the law actually steps in and says we need stiffer penalties?
Well, I don't have any, Justin would know more about the legal component of it, but I don't have any reason to, and I don't think anybody has any reason to doubt what Steve Mulroy says in terms of the reason why he's doing what he's doing. But I think there is a bit of personality kind of conflict in all of this. Steve, and I call them Steve and Brent, they are my friends, but they have a history of sort of back and forth, bickering with one another. I don't think that this is the area that we ought to be spending a lot of time dealing with. Prostitution and HIV, okay, they're important issues, but both of them have more important issues to deal with.
You know, and he may be exactly right, the DA, in the sense that yes, the rejected funding from the feds, but at the same time, even though that's true, is that a reason to say I'm going to pick and choose which laws I'm going to actually prosecute?
And I think that is the bigger issue here, Greg. It's not so much this specific issue. I think Senator Taylor's main concern is that it's the district attorney that is saying, I'm not going to enforce this law that the legislature has passed. Again, every case is different. I get that. But if the case is presented and the evidence is there, then the law has to be enforced.
What's the bigger issue here, perhaps, instead of just this issue between the senator and the DA? Is there a bigger issue that we perhaps have with the county?
I think the bigger issue is the crime in Memphis and a prioritizing of our attention and resources devoted to those particular crimes. And I just don't think that prostitution, as it's connected to HIV, should be that high on our priorities. I'm sorry.
And as an attorney, what's your sense? Is this new agreement between the Justice Department and the DA, is that legal?
Well, I think that's the concern. Again, you have the DOJ that is stepping in to say, hey, state district attorney, you can't enforce this law, and then basically the district attorney saying, okay. And that's not really the way this works.
Doesn't that put him between a rock and a hard place?
It does to some extent, but there are channels to challenge laws that don't involve agreements between one county, which is basically what we're talking about here, and the laws of an entire state.
So where do we go from here between these two? Because this isn't the first issue they've actually clashed on.
Well, I would hope that Senator Taylor and DA Mulroy would sit down outside of the reach of television cameras and just do what lawyers do in Steve's case, and do what morticians do in Brent's case. They sit down and talk calmly with each other and try to arrive at some kind of resolution. That's what I hope happens.
What is the resolution here?
Well, I'm not sure there's going to be much of a resolution in this specific instance because it sounds like the deal might be done. But I think there needs to be an understanding that the District Attorney General is there to prosecute the laws that the legislature has passed. And I guess the resolution
regardless of the pressure from the federal government?
Yes, and if the federal government has a problem, then, like I said, there's channels to address that. But it's not an agreement with one county or one county's district attorney general to say, hey, we're not going to do this anymore.
All right. This is just another chapter in a very long book, I suspect. When we come back, does Memphis need outside help to deal with our crime problem? One local leader says we do, and he's asking the governor to make it happen. That's coming up next on Informed Sources.